Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Hunter Career Mode. We are now in the January months of this third season on our quest to win every single trophy possible in the top 5 leagues, as well as in UEFA and the World Cup and the Euros. We are currently sitting in the third season after conquering England in the first with Liverpool by winning the domestic treble, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup. Then went over to France with Lyon and won Ligue 1 and the Coupe de France, as well as the UEFA Conference League. So he picked up the easiest UEFA competition there. In between the England and France season, it was the Euros, in which we failed to win that with Ronaldo in Portugal. So we have to wait for that to come around in 2028. Which would be in 2 seasons from now. We are now over in Germany, where we are looking to win the Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal, as well as the Champions League, and it is a World Cup year. In last episode, we went ahead and accepted a job from the Netherlands, so we will look to take the Netherlands all the way to win the World Cup. As of right now, we currently sit first in the league, tied on points with Frankfurt. We quite literally have the same exact record, except for the fact we have 40 goals and they only have 25. So we have a better goal difference. Now, last episode, we did go ahead and take on Gladbach, in which we won 5-3. We then took on Benfica in a must-win game to get out of the group stages, which we did win that 2-1. Their only goal was a late consolation goal at that point. We then took on Bayern Munich, in which we lost 4-2. So we lost to Bayern Munich and Dortmund in the same month. We are talking about the Champions League real quick, just to go back on that. Talking about the Champions League, we did go ahead and finish second in our group with 9 points, tied with Man United. We now take on Inter Milan in the round of 16, so we will take on Inter, an Italian club there. That will be maybe this episode, because we also do take on Dortmund in the DFB Pokal. We are in the January transfer window. We have 20 million. They gave us, I think it was at 8, so they gave us 12 million for, I guess, getting out of the group stages, which that's normally not a thing. You normally don't get prize money, I'm pretty sure. I think it's very rare that you do. So we get 12 million for that. So we're up to 20 million there. We did just lose Hiradeki. Hiradeki just went out because that whole 6 months contract extending or expiring thing bug is still in the game, where if you sign them in December, they will join you in January instead of joining you in the summer as it's supposed to. I want to bring in, I just want to boost the squad a little bit more, maybe find a better CM replacement for the bench. I think Lambert is perfectly fine because he's young, he will grow. I think we find another center mid, possibly find another like Cam-ish, because Hoffman is deteriorating. Find a Cam, maybe find another striker that could be a backup for Osmoon, and maybe find a backup left back, because we don't have a backup left back at all right now. So we have 20 million to do that. We have the whole month to find somebody, so let's see what we can do and find on the market. Alright, we was looking on cams, and there's 2 cams that I have on my short list at the end of the day. One is going to cost pretty much our entire budget. One is going to cost not even a third of our budget. It's going to cost a fourth of our budget. We are going to go ahead and try and sweeten this deal with Brendan Aronson, with Jonas Hoffman, see if we can get a straight swap. And in fact, I didn't think about this at all. 660k, that is perfectly fine. So Brendan Aronson will be joining here at Bayer Leverkusen. Now, I know I'm only going to be here for half a season, so I should have probably just done a loan, but might as well bring him in, see what he can do, and then after this season is up, it's really up just to AI where he goes. He wants a 31 million release clause. Sure, why not? Maybe I come back for you at a later date at a different club if I need somebody else. But Brendan Aronson, welcome to Bayer Leverkusen. Your second stint here in Germany after that Union Berlin one. And we go ahead and make a loanee signing from one of the German clubs as well. I believe we bring him in from FC Köln. Yes, FC Köln, Eric Martel. He will join here at Leverkusen for the next 6 months. He is a CDM replacement. He could also play center back as well, because he has 86 defensive awareness, which is absolutely insane. He might be a perfect replacement for Granit Xhaka, and he might even fight for his starting spot already. All right. I forgot. I forgot I was recording for a second. We went ahead and quick sim that hamburger game in which we won 1-0 there. However, off the back of that, we get a transfer offer for Boniface for 80 million from Chelsea, in which we are going to obviously decline that. However, the worst news is we get a player injury. Vitaroku, our star boy, has a broken tibia and will be out for the rest of the season. So we will no longer require his services, unfortunately. He is done for the rest of the season, which means Mr. Pigeon is going to have to come into his spot, and that means I was going to just go ahead and quick sim the rest of this window and just get it over with, but that means we needed another striker to replace Vitaroku now, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and see what we can do on the market, see if we can find a possibly quick and young striker for, I guess we still have 20 million because we only spent 600k on... We only spent 600k on whoever we bought in this there, Brendan Aronson. So let's see if we can find a striker that is quick, maybe even two strikers we can quick. Try and do a swap deal with Osmoon as well. That could be a possibility. We go ahead and bring in two strikers to replace Vitaroku and to replace the fact that he can't be on the bench. So we technically replaced Richarlison, who sits on the bench now, who's actually sitting on the starting 11. We replaced his bench spot. We replaced that with George Kahana, however you want to say his name, the 19-year-old French young prospect. So he'll join the club. We bring him in for 11.5 million there. So that is pretty much all of our budget gone. And then we go ahead and bring in Bernhard Mayer, a free agent, 18 years old, out of Austria, 73 overall rated. We bring him in for free, only paying him 9.3k a week for the next 4 years. So those are the two strikers that we bring in to replace Vitaroku and to replace Richarlison on the bench, which is unfortunate. And I believe actually one of these is technically going to also replace Osmoon as well. So we go ahead and say goodbye to Osmoon. Yankin's going to be the main backup striker, and Meyer is going to be the secondary backup striker for the rest of the season. Next up, we have Werder Bremen I almost said Premier League, in the Bundesliga. We're going to quick sim and win 3-2 with Boniface in the Metra and Richarlison, who scores on one of his first starts in the league of the season, halfway through the season, so that's great to see. Next up, we do have RB Leipzig. I am going to go ahead and quick sim that game as well, because we have to play against Frankfurt and Dortmund next episode, or not next episode, for this episode. And we go ahead and just let Osman go. He has been sold for 10.8 million or 10.4 million to Stuttgart. The 31-year-old job is done here at the Bayer Leverkusen. Goodbye to him. We are 12 points clear off of IB Leipzig. That's why I'm so comfortable simming this game. And we do lose it, which is unfortunate. Werner with a brace and Openda in the 69th. That is unfortunate. I expect better out of the boys there. That's actually a big loss now going into this Dortmund game in the DFB Pokal. It's time to play Borussia Dortmund in the DFB Pokal Quarter Finals here at the Bay Arena. The starting 11 is unchanged, besides the fact Richarlison is obviously starting now for Roku. And we went ahead and started Martel instead of Granit Xhaka. Other than that, it's unchanged with Ramsdale and net. The back four is still the same. Verts as our cam, Boniface as our main striker now. Let's jump into this game. Let's see what we can do against Dortmund and see if we can keep this cup run alive. That's the most important part. And in fact, Richarlison is the top scorer of the DFB Pokal with only 3 goals, which is interesting. Let's see if he can continue, I guess, his great form in this competition against one of the favorites in Dortmund. Out wide to Frimpong into Richarlison into Boniface now into Florian Wirtz, first time finish! And Florian Wirtz against the run of play has the lead for Leverkusen. The young Cam is getting the job done, putting his team on his back. It's been all Dortmund, and Dortmund should be up 2-3 by now. Their finishing is lackluster, Wirtz isn't. And we are going to halftime up 1-0 here against Borussia Dortmund. We definitely don't deserve this lead, but we will definitely take it nonetheless. Let's get to it. Kind of having a quiet debut here. I just haven't noticed him Haven't really been using that midfielder spot there, and they might be in behind here. It's Brandt for Dortmund. He'll level things up here. It's 1-1. Martel into Grimaldo. Over the top for Boniface. Can he get a head to that before the keeper? Yes, he can! And Boniface takes the lead back for Leverkusen. Kobel came out. Couldn't get there in time. Boniface got there first. And it's 2-1 for Leverkusen. And Borussia Dortmund are behind once again. I thought I hit it way too hard. I thought the keeper was for sure going to get to that. He doesn't. Takes out his own player. And that's the lead for us. We go ahead and make 4 or 5 changes, actually, on the left-hand side. We did bring in a free agent left back in Slater, a very young left back. We just brought him in just in case Grimaldo ever got hurt. We are going to use him now since Grimaldo is a little bit just tired. Granit Xhaka is going to come on for Martel. Martel, not the best debut, but haven't really used him. So I guess that's a good thing. Lambert, he was in the midfield. Brendan Aronson is going to get his debut, as well as George is also going to get his debut at striker as well for these last 7 minutes as we look to hold on to this lead now and hopefully move on to the semifinals of the DFB Pokal, in which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, Bayern Munich is already out. So if we knock off Dortmund, we become fan favorites besides RB Leipzig. Mancini, Brendan Aronson's going to win a second header down to Granit. Now into Nemecha. Nemecha into George. Out wide for Frimpong. Frimpong crossed in. That's a great ball into George. Can he score on his debut? No, his touch was awful, but it doesn't matter. That is game over. Leverkusen knocked off Dortmund, and we move on into the semifinals of the DFB Pokal. It was a very, very shaky game for the boys here. We've been absolutely dominated by Dortmund. They just couldn't finish, and we could. And RB Leipzig gets knocked off by Wolfsburg. So Wolfsburg are in the semifinal. Gladbach are also in the semifinal, and Stuttgart beat Elfsberg on penalties. We are taking on Wolfsburg in the semifinals, so it's going to be us versus Wolfsburg, who I think is technically, besides Gladbach, is one of the strongest teams left in the competition. I believe Gladbach might be the finalists out of that game, and hopefully we are the finalists out of this game. We've had a very easy cup run. Did we start in round 1? No, we didn't even play in round 1, obviously. Did we even start in round 2? Yes, we did. We had Ingolstadt, which was an easy game for us, and then we moved on against Werder Bremen. That was easy game, and then Dortmund, obviously, was a shaky one that we probably didn't deserve to win, but we did win. So we pick up all that. I almost said all 3 points. And now we take on Frankfurt, who have fallen off slightly. They were right with us, neck and neck. Now they are 5 points behind us and sit in third. So Dortmund now take over that second spot. And this game became just a little bit less interesting and a little bit less important. It is still semi-important. And we do have our first friendlies for the national team at the end of the March. We'll use that as a get to know the squad. The DFB Pokal semifinal isn't all the way into April, unfortunately. So we are going to go ahead and play Frankfurt and then end the episode with Inter Milan and then go from there. Also, right before we get into this game against Frankfurt, Mr. Kosanulu is coming back from injury. He's probably around a week or 2 from being back fully fit, but he is back available technically. We aren't going to have him on the squad here, but we might be finally going back to this 5-back formation and going back to what we know and love. Richarlison, Seevold, into Boniface. Can we get a break start? Boniface is offside. And Xavi gets taken out by Mancini, or is that Alessandro? That's Alessandro. He takes out Xavi, and that's going to be a penalty for Frankfurt. It's been a very quiet game since whenever the last time I spoke. It's been very quiet, and to end the first half is going to be Adley to probably take the lead for Leverkusen. He goes left, I go right. It's 1-0 for Frankfurt. Verts now on said corner. The pigeon on the corner header, no. It might fall out for Verts again. It will. Back to Boniface now into Lissandro, who gave up the penalty. Out wide for Grimaldo. Crossed in all the way to Verts into Boniface. I think it came off for Charleston, unfortunately. Frimpong over the top. Frimpong's in behind. Can he use his pace? Yes, he can. It's Jeremy Frimpong. Level things up here for Bayer. It's 1-1. And Jeremy Frimpong, I thought he was going to whiff that shot. Thankfully, he slots it and finds the back of the net, and it's 1-1 here. And we are back on level terms. It's going to be then with the last attack of the game. Just 1 minute left to go, and they might not even attack, except the fact they will. It's Giabi now on the ball. Cross comes in. Mancini did well with it. Xhaka looks to clear it. Boniface will find George, and that will be all she wrote. A 1-1 draw here against Frankfurt. We still keep that 5-point gap, but Dortmund also can possibly close that gap as well. It's time for the first leg of the round of 16 in the Champions League, and it's against Inter Milan, and this is their starting 11. They have Sommer in net. They have a back three of Pavard, Bastoni, and De Vrij. In the midfield, they have a midfield trio of Almada, Torreira, and Asani. They have wingers of Williams Jr. and Isai, with Balogun and Lautaro Martinez as their main strikers. This is our starting 11. We're going to keep it unchanged perfectly fine. Richarlison, Boniface. In fact, we're going to start George instead of Richarlison. Richarlison's kind of falling off. We're also going to start Brendan Aronson instead of Seavold. And we are going to go ahead and start Martel. So it's not unchanged at all. Costanu is still not back from injury yet. Martel cannot play CM. Can he play center back? What's his center back stuff? It's +1 at center back. How tall is he? He's 6'2". We could play him at center back and still play Granit Xhaka here. And drop. I wouldn't want to drop Martinez, but we might have. I wouldn't want to drop Mancini, but we might have to. I think we do that for now. We'll try Martel at center back. Probably not the best game to be trying players in different positions in a Champions League game, but it is what it is. And here we go. Our first look at knockout stages of the Champions League. We barely got to this point. We scraped it out of the league with Man United and Benfica and Dynamo Kiev. Nemecha switching the field over to Grimaldo. It's an awful switch, but he's still going to come out with on the ball. It's Grimaldo, Brendan Aronson, Florian Wirtz, back to Grimaldo! Saved by Sommer. Brendan into Bonnie. Actually, that's George. This is Bonnie. Now into Wirtz. Shot blocked. Nemecha rebound! Leverkusen breakthrough. It's 1-0 for Bayer. George into Brendan Aronson. Brendan Aronson now in behind. It's still Brendan Aronson. He's going to look to cut back against Bastoni, then go near post. Saved, and it's going to come back off of Brendan Aronson, unfortunately. And out for a goal kick. Brendan Aronson now. Can he slot that into the Pigeon? Yes, he can. And the Pigeon gets behind. Can he double the lead early after coming on? It's 2-0 for Leverkusen. And after a very 50-50 game, we are up 2-0 here against Inter Milan going into the second leg now. And that is game over. That is leg 1 over. A 2-0 win here against Inter Milan at home. We are going back to Italy with that 2-goal advantage. When we come back, we will have Bayern Munich in the league, who are currently sitting in second. They are sitting in second, but however, Dortmund and all the other teams have a game in hand, which they could leap them over. We are currently only 2 points ahead of them, so we need to kind of win this game to put that cushion in there. We also have the second leg against Inter Milan, and we'll probably end up playing maybe a friendly for the Netherlands, or we might just go all the way in towards the DFB Pokal semifinal to set that up perfectly. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all back for another episode either tomorrow, Monday, or Thursday, whatever day this is getting uploaded. Until then, peace out.